You know, I was hoping that we could meet in the lab sometime too, and then I can show you all the stuff that we use to do our research. But I couldn't get down there today because we have a scientist in the lab who's preparing water samples for shipment. And so we both can't be in the lab at the same time, right? Yeah, because we're trying to all keep our social distance right now. But I'm glad we can talk virtually.
Yep.
James, tell me a little bit about yourself.
I'm 9. I'm in the 3rd grade.
Mm-hmm.
My hobbies are basketball, reading, Legos.
Good.
Hiking.
I hear that you're studying the ocean.
Yes.
Is that, is that part of like an ecosystems curriculum at school where you're studying lots of different habitats, or just the ocean?
No, well, yeah, just the ocean.
Just the ocean, yeah. So I actually have studied lots of different types of what we call ecosystems. The ecosystem is a place where the physical environment and the biological environment interact. So like in the ocean, you have this non-biological or physical environment with salt water and sand or sediments, rocks, you know, anything that's not living. And then you have all the things that are living, like the lobsters that hide under the rocks, or the fish in the water column, the seagrasses that can grow out of the sediment. So when you add all those components together, you have what's called an ecosystem. Have you heard that word before? Ecosystem? Yeah, people use it a lot. So in my background, I actually used to study freshwater ecosystems. So I spent a lot of time working with animals that live in streams, like trout and lakes and that kind of thing. So only after I moved to Maine did I get so fascinated about the ocean, and I started to turn my attention to the sea around us. And so what we study here in Maine is pretty different from what you've been studying about coral reefs and that kind of thing. Can you tell me about what you've been studying?
The first time we did, it was on the Great Barrier Reef. Sea turtles usually go back to their home at age 30.
That old?
Yeah.
I had no idea.
And it takes 5 years to get the strength to lay eggs.
Oh my gosh. I'm learning something.
They do it every 2 weeks.
Oh, when they start laying eggs, they start doing it every 2 weeks over their reproductive time. That's pretty cool.
They lay 120 eggs each time.
My gosh, that's a huge number.
And every night they need to be in the water.
Oh, I can imagine. Well, that's super interesting.
And then 2 other facts just about the Great Barrier Reef. There's one 3,000-foot drop off. And then.
Wow. That's a big drop off.
And then one of the coolest ones, clownfish clack their jaws to ward off predators.
You know what? I had not any awareness of the facts that you have shared with me, so I'm glad to learn those things today. I know a few things about sea turtles because I've been doing a project with the South Carolina Aquarium. That's down in Charleston, South Carolina. And they have a lot of turtles that come and lay eggs on their beaches down there. And there are people that are really concerned about the turtles, and they want to be sure to protect their nests. So they actually go out and they check on the nests, and they actually map where they are so people are aware and they aren't disturbed. But the other thing that the South Carolina Aquarium is really worried about is that sometimes the sea turtles can get injured by swallowing plastic pollution. Have you heard about that?
Yes.
What do sea turtles eat? Did you learn about that?
It didn't talk all that much about it, but my guess would be fish.
Mm-hmm.
Some fish.
As a matter of fact, a lot of sea turtles like to eat jellyfish.
I can imagine that.
Yeah. Can you think of a kind of plastic pollution that floating in the ocean might look like a jellyfish?
A paper bag.
That's right, those plastic shopping bags. Paper bags might
Oh,
too, but
yeah.
they probably would break down quick in the ocean, not be such a problem. But those plastic bags, when they're floating through the water, they look just like jellyfish. And sometimes the sea turtles eat them. When they swallow them, they get all twisted up in their gut, and then they can't absorb food and they don't do so well. So in Carolina now, it's garbage and beach sweeps. And they go out and they do these big marine debris cleanups. And they count how much they get of each kind of plastic or each kind of garbage. And they find one thing is the most prevalent kind of garbage. What do you think that is?
Plastic bottles.
Well, not so many plastic bottles, but maybe because people can recycle those easily. But one thing you can't believe is they find so many cigarette butts. Hundreds of thousands. I know. Some of those have plastic filters on them, and those can be a problem for sea life too. So anyhow, what these people are doing in collecting all of this garbage and then adding up all the numbers and then taking a look, an analysis of what's going on there, they've been able to communicate with their town officials that this is a real problem. You know what we call people who collect information like that and then use that data to do something? We call them citizen scientists. Have you heard of a citizen scientist?
No. I know what both words mean, though.
Yeah, so guess what? You could be a citizen scientist. How do you think you could be a citizen scientist?
By studying the green crab population?
Absolutely. If you went out and you collected crabs in the seaweed and you wrote down all the numbers of crabs that you found, and maybe even how many of them are male, how many of them are female, and you shared that data with some scientists or with some fishermen, or even shared it with us at the community lab at MDI Biological Laboratory, then we can use that data to better understand what's going on with those crabs. And then because you collected data like a scientist and helped us understand the environment better, that would make you a citizen scientist. Wouldn't that be fun?
Yes.
So you also could be a citizen scientist by getting involved in some beach cleanups too. And you know, I would think even though we're all practicing social isolation right now, I think that you could find a strip of beach that was very quiet with nobody on it and go out there with a garbage bag and pick up some things. And if you keep track of it, then, and you know, let us know what kind of garbage you're finding and where you're finding it, then that's really helpful and could be a citizen science project too. So the story that I want to finish for you is the one about the South Carolina Aquarium, because guess what happened when they took all of their citizen science information to their town officials and told them there's too much plastic, it's a problem for our sea turtles. Guess what they accomplished? The town officials voted to ban plastic bags on the beaches and styrofoam. They got a law passed down there. People like you and me did that. That's pretty exciting that people can have that kind of an impact in the world, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So we can talk more about being a citizen scientist later if you want, because I have some ways that make it easy for students to keep track of the information that they're collecting when they're out picking up garbage or they're out counting crabs.